Hello and welcome back to Jack Knives Reviews. I'm of course your host, Jack Knives. Now that we've got rom-coms out of the way, why don't we focus on a series about relationships? But not just any series, a Netflix anime. Yes, today we will be talking about BeaStars. In a world of anthropomorphic animals, there is a divide between herbivores and carnivores, with the person to unite them being known as the BeaStar. Legoshi, a timid, shy wolf, constantly fights his urges to be violent and wolf-like. He meets a white rabbit named Haru, and over time they both start developing feelings for one another, despite their own genetic nature fighting against them. As the story unravels, there is murder, mobsters, and possibly an underground black market for missing animals, with Legoshi all at the center of it. This is a dividing series. On one hand, you have a series about a teen romance. On another hand, you have a series that's an anime. And on an even more hand, you have an anime series about romance in the vein of furry culture. I went in with a broad mind. I mean, heck, even the animation style, I'm not really a fan of. I'm not a huge fan of this weird painted style animation. It's one of the reasons I'm not a big fan of the newer Street Fighter games, is I don't like that 3D painted style. I'm not really a huge fan. I mean, if it's meant to look like a painting like Okami, sure. But honestly, I went into this series with a pretty low bar, expectation-wise. I never read the manga. I didn't really know much about it other than there's anthropomorphic animals, but it's surprisingly dark. Like, a lot of action happens in it, and a lot of story-driven elements. It also kind of tightropes, like, the nature of racism. It tightropes the culturalism of, like, split races, and it's little things that are nuances that I could see a lot of people kind of dissecting in this series. But not just that, it actually has a lot of sincerity to it. There are things that it tackles where it's like, how do you thrive in a world where your nature dictates who you are, where you are in society, and how you are? There's things in the series that it just hits on that I never really expected a series like this to tackle, but it doesn't do it in a forceful way. It does it in a genuine way that builds up to it. For example, at one point, Haru, the bunny, and Legoshi are trying to get intimate. Now, she's a bunny, he's a wolf, but what's so interesting is there are parts where it's like he's trying to not hurt her, but she sees that as like, how dare you see it as a weakness. It's not like he's not trying to be intimate with her, but he's like he's trying to prevent an urge to eat and kill her. It's a little, I hate referencing this movie. It's similar to what they were trying to do with Twilight, if Stephanie Meyer could write. But it's that monster fighting the urge thing. And there's elements of that. There's also this whole class system. There's also a lot of really genuinely nice people that you could see reflective of your own friends that you may have had in high school. You could also see reflective of terrible people in high school. And there's also elements that you can't really relate to, but you're just there for the ride. Subplots involving the mafia, underground meat marketing, slave trade, trafficking, as well as a murder mystery plot. Yeah, all of those are in this series. Like, it gets really, like, okay, but not in a way that doesn't seem forceful. It seems more, like, genuine the way it's, like, progressing. Legoshi is, a generic, shy character, but he's also, like, because he's a wolf, they're kind of, like, stigmatized because wolves are very kind of, like, friendly-esque. I don't know. It's a lot really of a class system that you kind of really have to delve into. And if you like nature, it's interesting to see that kind of aspect play upon the story. And, the relationship with Haru seems genuine. She didn't like Legoshi at first. He didn't really understand why he liked her. They don't just I saw you, and it's a forbidden romance, and we shouldn't be like I thought it was going to be. No, it doesn't really do it like that. It plays it on of I want to, but I shouldn't, but I can't, but I will. It's fairly adult the way it does it. There's also a whole thing where Legoshi has to train to become stronger, to protect Haru, and to also fight off these messed up criminals and all this stuff. And then there's this other character named Louis who everyone's obsessed with. He's a deer, and he's this pompous ass who's I'm better than you. And then you find out, oh, it's because he had an abusive childhood, and and I'm he's still an ass. Everyone could be oh, poor Louis, poor Louis. I don't care. The dude's an ass. There's a lot you could enjoy about this series, and there's a lot that could divide a lot of people about this series. But honestly, having gone into this with a very open mind and just kind of expecting schmaltz and cheese, and not getting that at all, but getting it in a way unlike Bar Fight, where I was disappointed, I was actually surprised with the amount of effort, work, and story structure of character development and actual effects that were in this show. So it's almost like a complete opposite feeling compared to how I felt about Bar Fight. If you haven't seen it, I think it's worth checking out. I give BeaStars 4 out of 5. Have you watched BeaStars? Let me know in the comments down below. Till then, I'll see you next time.